Hari Jamuna Tera Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Ram Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Guru Parampara ki Jai Nitai Gaur Pramanande Hari Hari Bol Hare Krishna. Everybody can hear me?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Please
Krishna,
accept my
Prabhuji.
humble obeisances.
Dandavat pranam, all glories to Srila
Dandavat
Prabhupada.
pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Dandavat pranam,
All glories to
Prabhuji.
all of you. All glories to Sri Bhagavad Gita. Thank you for coming back. I hope everybody had a wonderful weekend.
Yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I just want to tell everyone, I have sent Prabhuji's document. Prabhuji sent just now, chapter 8 notes. I've sent it in the chat,
Yes,
in the
Mataji.
Word format.
We got it, Mataji. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
So we are going to begin today chapter 8. Srila Prabhupada titles this as Attaining the Supreme. So attaining the Supreme, those who are in English speaking world, they will assume the meaning that you have access or you going to be eligible to attain the supreme substance. But those who are in Sanskrit or Hindi language, you might be thinking something different. Because let's see what it says exactly here in Sanskrit. Akshar Brahma Yoga or Tarak Brahma Yoga. Baladev Vidyabhushan Thakur says Tarak Brahma Yoga. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur also put Akshar Brahma Yoga. So Tarak generally means when you are in a boat to cross a river. So from this side, material side to spiritual side, when you cross it, this is Tarak. Tarak and Parak, two potency are there. Tarak means, so this chapter supposed to take you other side. So please sit tight with your seat belt in a boat, according to that explanation, that you will cross the material ocean and you will achieve the Supreme Brahman, Krishna. And Akshar Brahma Yoga means you will discover, the another Acharya, discover the supreme object of love, you can say. So we'll begin with this. Please join together, and then we are going to start chapter 8 and repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo
Bhagavate
Om
Vasudevaya.
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskritam Naran Chaiva Narottamam Devim Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet Nasta Prayesu Avadresu Nitam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistake Mukhaṁ karati vācālam pangulangayate girim Jatkripatamaham bande si guru dinatarinam Paramanandamadhavam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram Om Ajnanati Mirandasya Enanjanalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namah Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Sayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Padantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Jutapada Kamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanitam Tam Sajivam Sadaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanitanscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Saminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunnavadi Paschatadeshatarine Panchakalpa Taruvescha Kripa Sindhuvayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vindam. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna Krishna
Hare
Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
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 Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Hare
Rama.
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
So should we put with the test or we should discuss first? Because I hope you all remember what we ended other Saturday, that these six prerequisite aspect of knowledge you have to memorize. It is not looking in the computer or notebook. At the moment of death, I don't know how many of you have read Kapil Dev's explanation of moment of death. This is the final journey, final test. At the moment of death, physical body will be disconnected from the subtle body. Subtle body disconnect with the soul. Now, those who are going to Jamaduta, Jamaraj's place, Jamaduta separate the subtle body with the physical body. And it is a very dramatic. I saw even couple months back, I went to another funeral. I saw all the relatives are surround the dead body and they are expressing, it's like it's such a peaceful, this departure, Mataji, very peaceful. Then I'm thinking, should I tell the truth or just go with the flow so everybody remain peaceful? And I was battling within my understanding, because Kapil Dev did not say that. Kapil Dev says we should not become sentimental. We should be transcendental. Whatever Bhagavatam says, that's the fact. We have to have a strong faith to maintain that belief. Then we will experience spiritualism, spirituality, indestructibility of spiritual reality. It will manifest to us, but we have to maintain that belief. Kapil Dev says that when the soul depart, if it's not a devotee, then Jamaduta is invisible. Relative cannot see. It's separate from the subtle body. And at that time, the physical body looks like peaceful, like a dead. Nothing moves. Very peaceful. But actually the soul, departing soul is screaming, desperate, help. I don't know if you ever experienced like screaming you like somebody about to kill you, or big snake right in front, which happened to me a couple of times, one in Mayapur, one in my village. So much loud screaming because you are about to die. But no connection between physical and subtle. So nobody hears. They think, oh, look at so peacefully that person living this world. That person is not living this world peacefully. The person is screaming, desperate help needed. But there is no communication between physical and subtle. It's separated. Everybody understanding my explanation? As a result, only the spiritual sound vibration, Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and the consciousness of the soul, whatever he or she drawn the highest happiness while roaming in this world, will flash like in front of the face. Just like in Mayapur, one Germany devotee, this is a real story. One Germany devotee in Mayapur, when he grew up, he was not a devotee, he was just a karmi. And his parents, they used to watch American news. And American news, in between the news, there is a pizza, one chain store called Papa John Pizza. And there is there's a little dancing old man, old lady, grandchildren with a pizza and like this. And he used to dance and he used to love that ad of America. And he was in Heidelberg, Germany. So he grew up like this. And then later on, when he became young, he joined Hare Krishna. He gave up everything. He came to Mayapur. And he was about to drown in Ganges in Mayapur. He went for swimming. When he went underwater, under current, he was about to leave this world. Some fishermen, boatmen, they caught him. They took him on the bank and later on brought it to Mayapur. Mother Lakshmi Muni, she's from here, she was there. And they were like shocked. So after 2 days, he became normal. So they asked him to tell what happened. It was a wonderful experience. Can anybody guess what that person about to die, what happened to him? Well, I already probably blow the gun already, so you're probably guessing what he thought.
But he was a devotee, so he probably had
Yes,
seen
he was a devotee.
So he must have seen Vishnuduta.
No.
He saw the celestial creature of the water.
No. He saw the pizza ad. That's all. He was trying, Prabhu, he's still alive. He's still alive and is a good devotee. He was trying so hard. For you may not make sense. You know, for me, it doesn't make sense. Why not we think of Krishna? Because we are not in that crucial time of dying. He was trying so hard to think Gauranga, Nitai Gaur, Mayapur, all these ideas, but nothing is flushing. Everybody try to understand. Whatever you have on your face, you will see in the mirror exactly same, not any difference. If you don't have any tilak on the face, in the mirror, you will never see tilak. If you have tilak here, it will see. Whatever is in the heart, remember this, it reflects. That is called mind. You are perceiving what is reflecting on the mind. You are carried. 6.5 in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Uddhared Atma Atmanoyam Natma Vashad. Atmaiva Atmana Bandhu. Anybody has Bhagavad Gita, please look at that, how proper translated it. 6.5. That you have to deliver yourself with the help of mind. You do not have any other choice. Moment of death, we are individual. Srila Prabhupada writes this very wonderfully, that you do not have any help. Even in one page of Bhagavatam, Draupadi's case, Prabhupada writes, even your guru cannot help unless you are holding Guru's lotus feet, Guru's instruction. Nobody will help. You must prepare yourself that you are devout to your Guru. You have to think of your Guru, you have to think of Prabhupada, you have to think of Krishna. It is not automatic.
But
If you look at the translation, can somebody read?
Yes, one must deliver himself with the help of his mind and not degrade himself. The mind is the friend of the conditioned soul and his enemy as well.
Very good. So with that note, I'm going to begin the chapter 8. The Arjuna raises the 7 inquiries or questions in the previous chapter. 2 texts, 29 and 30, if you remember. I mentioned that, right? Everybody remembers that, hopefully.
Yeah.
6 of those questions relate to the factual meaning of the 6 words mentioned at the end of the last chapter. Brahma, Adhatma, Karma, Adibhuta, Adidaiva, Adijagna. Now the question is rising in the chapter 8, beginning with, how does a man whose senses are controlled know you at the time of death? This is the question Arjuna has, that the moment of death, we should not become little, I don't mean criticizing anybody, we should not become like a sentimentalist, you know. In America, they have a lot of sentimentalists. One couple's dog died. They are not even Christian. So they are just talking, and we happen to also pass by. So our puppy just died. Don't worry, puppy went to heaven. I said, what is heaven? What is heaven and how the puppy goes to heaven? I said, you know, you are a Hare Krishna, you should know. I said, I am not familiar what is heaven and how puppy goes to heaven. I'm just curious. No, puppy, everybody goes to heaven. I said, okay, that's what you believe, all right. So you can use these are called sentimental. Spiritual life, you cannot be sentimental or judgmental. You have to be transcendental. This is important. Just because I'm thinking I love my puppy and the dog went to the heaven, that doesn't mean it went to heaven. But if you feel like it makes you feel good, okay, it's okay. So Arjuna asked that question. The answer Krishna started giving in this chapter, especially with how to attain Krishna at the time of death. It is to be understood that comprehending the first 6 topics about which Arjuna is asking, I'm going to refresh again your mind, is a prerequisite for attaining that state of consciousness by which one can remember Krishna at the time of death and thus attain him. What are those 6 prerequisites? Let's see. Number 1, I'm going to call anybody from the audience, and you all have to be completely thorough this whole life. Number 1, Brahman. What is Brahman? What is absolute reality? If you don't remember the question, you cannot remember the answer. What is Brahman? You have to prepare to answer. Number 2, what is Adhatma? Self. Who am I? 3, what is karma? Or principle of action. 4, what is Adibhutam? The basis of this material manifestation. 5, what is Adi Daivam? The principle underlining the Devas. And 6, what is Adi Jagna? Who is the Lord of sacrifice and how does he live in the body? You can make it into 7 or you can add with the 6, it's the same. That who is the Lord of the sacrifice and how does he reside in your body? And then when you have this all answered, then you can engage in devotional service and guaranteed at the moment of death that you are entering to Golok. Everybody knows where Golok Vrindavan is. I'm sure you do. It's in Chaitanya Charitamrita chapter 5. Sarvaga Ananta Vibhu Krishna Tanu Sama. Everything that all pervasive is actually Golok Vrindavan. Before, many decades back, I thought Golok is like above this material world is Viraja, Viraja, then Brahmajyoti, then Vaikuntha, then Ayuddha, then Mahavaikuntha, Dwarka, Mathura. then above is Golok. Vrindavan is like a abode. No. Actually, Golok is everything. Unlimited. Sarvaga. It's unlimited. Under Golok, just like a Golok, imagine a big house. And there is a many rooms. Those are called Vaikuntha. So Golok is within Vaikuntha is within Golok, but under is no connection with the Golok is actually the biggest, unlimited. This is in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Nityananda Tattva Nityananda Appearance Day is coming in 2 days. So you have to be aware of it. And I made already some question. Actually, I can send it also later, end of the day. And imagine underneath of that house, dungeon or underground garage is the material world. Is everybody understanding this concept? So Golok Vrindavan is the biggest. Biggest means there is no bigger than that. It is unlimited. Part of underneath Golok, part of it is Vaikuntha. And all the way bottom, like a garage or dark, spooky, dark closet or dungeon, it's like a material world. So in one sense, you are within Krishna, within spiritual world, but you don't have access of the spiritual world. If you become purified right now, you can literally see Krishna and you can see the spiritual world right here. Srila Prabhupada on a morning walk in Bawari. I don't know if anybody went to Bawari in the audience in New York. Bawari is like a kind of a, how do you say it? Like a world, the lowest class people used to hang around. All drug addict and like a really low class. Even the police would be scared to go there at night. Prabhupada says, I see Vaikuntha. Now, how in the world Prabhupada see Vaikuntha? That's his vision. In Dallas, Texas, he was singing and he saw Lord Shiva, Narad Muni. They also came to join while Prabhupada is speaking. So question is, we have to change our perception. We have to spiritualize our consciousness. Right where you are, if you spiritualize your consciousness, you develop this transcendental eye, then you can literally see, oh, I was in dungeon, which is below Vaikuntha. It says, Golok namni nijadhamni talesha tasya Devi Mahesha Haridhameshu Teshu Teshu Tete Prabhava Nichaya Vihitascha Jena. This verse is very clearly saying that Goloka Namni Nijo Dhamni Talesha Tasya. Tale means below. Below the Golok is Vaikuntha, Haridham. Below Haridham is Mahesdham. Below Mahesdham is Devi Dham or material world. So in one sense, we are always in the spiritual world because also there is another verse, it says that everything is within Krishna's body. Krishna ek sarvashray, Krishna sarvadham, Krishna swarya sarva vishwara vishram. Yes, everything is within Krishna's body, but we cannot see Krishna. Why? So consciousness has to change. Our consciousness has to change. As soon as our consciousness purified, we are done. Your journey is over. Why? Because Krishna is in your heart. You can literally see Krishna right in your heart. Golok Vrindavan is right there in your access. So the whole process of Bhakti Yoga to purify the consciousness. Okay, as we mentioned this, now we are going to start. The key point for today beginning, you can just think for a moment, when you love the Lord Krishna more than the world, He will take you out of the world. This is the purpose of this chapter. When you love Krishna more than the worldly attraction or whatever you have attachment, then he will take you out of the world. Out of the world doesn't mean you're not going to die. You're going to stay in the same body. Prabhupada explains, 3rd canto, 2nd chapter. You will be in the same body, but you will be in the spiritual world by consciousness. You will act like a father, mother, brother, sister, son, daughter, whatever level physically you are, but spiritually you are in the spiritual world already connected. This is wonderful. Who doesn't want it? Everybody wants it. Then all the fear disappear immediately. So somebody need to be muted. It's making little noise. Yeah.
Prabhuji, I have one question.
Yes,
So, the consciousness, some people are attached to Vishnu, so who will be eventually going back to Vaikuntha. So, but you're saying Goloka is everywhere. So then they will be obstructed to go to Goloka. They will be limited to Vaikuntha.
You know, this is a beautiful subject, but I'm scared of opening like a Pandora box. It's a vast, it is a mystery, because I was talking to Bir Krishna Goswami Maharaj other day. He's one of our ISKCON GBC guru. Very nice sadhu. He's really very high class devotee. I see that. So we had a nice talk that in one sense we can say we have our eternal spiritual relationship with Krishna in a particular rasa or particular position. Atra Sai Bhava Saprukta Sri Krishna Vishayarati. Those verses are explaining that. Then also we see the Rupa Goswami Pad explains Kriti Shadda Bhavesh Shadda Bhava Sa Sadhana Vida Nitya Siddhasya Bhavasya Prakritam Ridi Shaddata. Sadhan Bhakti, what we are doing right now, discussing, it is the purpose of this discussion or chanting japa is to awaken that particular mood that we all along holding in the heart when we come in contact with pure goodness. Then we'll see that. That's true. But then we see actually Mahaprabhu's time something dramatic changes. Joy Vijay, who was a Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha, Shishupal, Dantabhakra, Ravan, Kumbhakarna. The Joy Vijay was actually Vaikuntha gatekeeper. But then when they came as Jagai Madai, they went in Shatadip. They were chanting with Mahaprabhu and they drowned into this Braja Prem. So question comes, did Joy Vijay lose their position in the Vaikuntha and enter into now, after departing from here, they will go to, or they have both? It's only Krishna knows. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur did answer. He says we can have a two swarup. Two swarup, he literally said 2 places in his book. That we can go to Golok Vrindavan, also we can stay in other place that you are focusing. It also ultimately boils down your own decision and your own acceptance. Lakshmi Devi is meditating, she could not enter, she is in Belban, she could not enter into Madhurja Rasa of Braja because she does not want to give up her position as a wife of Lakshmi, of Narayan. So then it is difficult. In Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhulila chapter 9, it says, Bhajyantara jabe gopi deha pailo, sei dehe Krishna sange rasa kriya koilo. So Bhajyantar, the inner consciousness and external practice, both has to be in the same mood like gopis. then possible. So Lakshmi Devi is meditating, but inside when Krishna appeared to her and asked her that you are the Lakshmi, queen of wealth, you have to give up this, that you are no more queen of wealth, you are just a coward girl. She was contemplating and she thought that was difficult, but she said, but I'll do it because I want to experience that your association. Then Krishna says, well, you cannot do this Brahmanical work. Look at Lakshmi does all Brahmanical work. You have to do the messy work like a cow dung, you know. The cow dung, they put a ghuta, they call ghote. And then you make this, the gopis they make. Lakshmi Devi thought, and then she said, all right, I will try to that. Then when came to the point where Krishna says, you have to marry somebody else, but you have to give your body, your mind, everything to me, hidingly meeting. She said, I can do that. I will never marry anybody. You are my eternal husband. I cannot think of marrying you. But if you know the Braja Gopis, they all married to someone, but their life is all for Nanda Maharaj's son. So we don't know in future what will happen. She's still meditating. And when you see her in Belbon, if you go there, you can talk to her. You can talk to Lakshmi Devi and ask her any updates or progress. Maybe she may reveal to you. So we don't know, it's a mystery. But it's also your rasa, what you are attracted. Krishna is such a wonderful. Krishna will never give you something you did not want to. You did not want for. What do you want, Krishna will give. Dhruva Maharaj wanted the kingdom. Even though after he met, he changed his idea. He said, no, I don't want anything. I just want to serve you. Narayan did not agree. He said, no, you came for that first. So you're going to go there first. Enjoy 36,000 years. But was not enjoyment. He was missing the Lord.
But that is material, Prabhuji.
No, it's not material. It's not material.
Enjoying
No.
the kingdom. Enjoying the kingdom was material.
It is material, but consciously he was meditating on it.
Yes.
So his consciousness has to come, naturally flow towards. Your consciousness, your thinking, willing, feeling. He literally deep in his heart, he wanted a bigger kingdom than his grandfather. Krishna will never cheat you. Krishna will never deprive you. Whatever you want, Krishna will give you. So be very careful what you want. If you really want exclusive service to divine couple under Guru Manjari in Golok Vrindavan, then be very specific. If you say, I just want to get out of the material world, you can go to Brahma Jyoti. Be very careful. In 8th chapter Adi Lila, Prabhupada gave a big purport. Mahaprabhu actually expressed this, that if you don't have a desire, strong desire for service, Krishna may give you just liberation. So we should be very careful what we are looking for.
Yes, Prabhuji.
And that decision is up to you. Okay, thank you. So we'll start from some devotee. Is there any devotee who did not read yet?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Mother. Can you start reading from text 8, please?
Yeah, sure, Prabhu. Text 1, right? Chapter 8, text 1.
Sorry, text 1, chapter 8. I'm sorry. Now everybody look at this verse while Mother is reading. That here, first verse, Arjuna addressed Krishna as a Purushottam. You think why? Everything Arjuna and Krishna say, there is a deep meaning of it. Okay, Mataji, go ahead.
Hare Krishna, chapter 8, pertaining the Supreme, text 1. Arjuna vacha kim tad brahma kim adhyatmam kim karma purushottama adhibhutam cha kim proktam videvam muchyate. Translation. Arjuna inquired, O my Lord, O Supreme Person, what is Brahman? What is the self? What are fruitive activities? What is this material manifestation? And what are the demigods? Please explain this to me. Shall I read the purport to Prabhu or
Yes, yes.
purport by Srila Prabhupada? In this chapter, Lord Krishna answers different questions from Arjun, beginning with what is Brahman? The Lord also explains karma, fruitive activities, devotional service, and yoga principles, and devotional service in its pure form. The Srimad Bhagavatam explains that supreme absolute truth is known as Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagwan. In addition, the living entity, the individual soul, is also called Brahman. Arjun also inquires about Atma, which refers to the body, soul, and mind. According to the Vedic dictionary, Atma refers to the mind, soul, body, and senses also. Arjun has addressed the Supreme Lord as Purushottama, the Supreme Person, which means that he was putting these questions not only to a friend but to the Supreme Person, knowing him to be the supreme authority able to give definitive answers. Hare Krishna.
Hmm. Very nice. Prabhupada already answered. Next devotee, text 2.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, can I read Dandavan Pranas?
Dandavat.
हरियज्ञकथं कोत्र देहेऽस्मिन् मधुसूदना प्रयाणकाले च कथं नेयोऽसि नियतात्मभिः. Who is the Lord of sacrifice, and how does he live in the body, O Madhusudana? And how can those engaged in devotional service know you at the time of death?
Go ahead with purport.
Lord of sacrifice may refer to either Indra or Vishnu. Vishnu is the chief of the primal demigods, including Brahma and Shiva, and Indra is the chief of the administrative demigods. Both Indra and Vishnu are worshipped by yajna performances. But here, Arjuna asks who is actually the Lord of yajna, sacrifice, and how the Lord is residing within the body of the living entity. Arjuna addresses the Lord as Madhusudana because Krishna once killed a demon named Madhu. Actually, these questions, which are of the nature of doubts, should not have arisen in the mind of Arjuna, because Arjuna is a Krishna conscious devotee. Therefore, these doubts are like demons. Since Krishna is so expert in killing demons, Arjuna here addresses him as Madhusudana so that Krishna might kill the demonic doubts that arise in Arjuna's mind. Now, the word Prayana Kale in this verse is very significant because whatever we do in life will be tested at the time of death. Arjuna is very
One
anxious.
second, Mata. Can you repeat this? I want everybody to memorize this line, what Prabhupada said.
And now the word Prayana Kale in this verse is very significant because whatever we do in life will be tested at the time of death. Arjuna is very anxious to know of those who are constantly engaged in Krishna consciousness. What should be their position at that final moment? At the time of death, all the bodily functions are disrupted and the mind is not in a proper condition. Thus, disturbed by the bodily situation, one may not be able to remember the Supreme Lord. Maharaj Kulashekara, a great devotee, prays, "My dear Lord, just now I am quite healthy, and it is better that I die immediately so that the swan of my mind can seek entrance at the stem of your lotus feet." The metaphor is used because the swan, a bird of the water, takes pleasure in digging into the lotus flowers. His sporting proclivity is to enter the lotus flower. Maharaj Kulashekara says to the Lord, "Now my mind is undisturbed and I am quite healthy. If I die immediately, thinking of your lotus feet, then I am sure that my performance of your devotional service will become perfect." But if I have to wait for my natural death, then I do not know what will happen. Because at that time the bodily functions will be disrupted, my throat will be choked up, and I do not know whether I shall be able to chant your name. Better let me die immediately. Arjuna questions how a person can fix his mind on Krishna's lotus feet at such a time. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Next devotee, text 3.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Aksharam Brahma Paramam Svabhavodhyatmam Uchyate Bhuta Bhavodbhavakaro Visharga Karma Samnitaha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, the indestructible, transcendental living entity is called Brahman, and his eternal nature is called Adhyatma, the self. Action pertaining to the development of the material bodies of the living entity is called karma or fruitive activities. Purport. Brahman is indestructible and eternally existing, and its constitution is not changed at any time. But beyond Brahman, there is Parabrahman. Brahman refers to the living entity, and Parabrahman refers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The constitutional position of the living entity is different from the position he takes in the material world. In material consciousness, his nature is to try to be the Lord of matter. But in spiritual consciousness, Krishna consciousness, his position is to serve the Supreme. When the living entity is in the material consciousness, he has to take on various bodies in the material world. That is called karma, or varied creation by the force of material consciousness. Should I go ahead, please?
Yes, Prabhu. Oh, it's
Thank
a
you,
long purport. Okay. Go ahead, one more paragraph and then somebody else.
Okay, thank you. In Vedic literature, the living entity is called Jivatma or Brahman, but he is never called Parabrahman. The living entity, Jivatma, takes different positions. Sometimes he merges into the dark material nature and identifies himself with matter, and sometimes he identifies himself with superior spiritual nature. Therefore, he is called the Supreme Lord's marginal energy. According to his identification with material or spiritual nature, he receives a material or spiritual body. In material nature, he may take a body from any of the 8.4 million species of life. But in spiritual nature, he has only one body. In material nature, he is manifested sometimes as a man, demigod, animal, beast, bird, etc., according to his karma, to attain material heavenly planets and enjoy their facilities. He sometimes performs sacrifices, yajna. But when his merit is exhausted, he returns to earth again in the form of a man. This process is called karma.
Very good. Next devotee.
Thank you.
The Chandogya Upanishad describes the Vedic sacrificial process. On the sacrificial altar, 5 kinds of offerings are made into 5 kinds of fire. The 5 kinds of fire are conceived of as the heavenly planets, clouds, the earth, man, and woman. And the 5 kinds of sacrificial offerings are faith, the enjoyer of the moon, rain, grains, and semen. In the process of sacrifice, the living entity makes specific sacrifices to attain specific heavenly planets and consequently reaches them. When the merits of sacrifice is exhausted, the living entity descends to earth in the form of rain, then takes on the form of grain, and the grain are eaten by man and transformed into semen, which impregnates a woman and thus the living entity once again attain a human form to perform sacrifice and so repeat the same cycle. In this way, the living entity perpetually comes and goes on the material path. The Krishna conscious person, however, avoids such sacrifices. He takes directly to Krishna consciousness and thereby prepares himself to return to Godhead. Impersonalist commentators of the Bhagavad Gita unreasonably assume that Brahman takes the form of Jiva in the material world, and to substantiate this, they refer to chapter 15, verse 7 of the Gita. But in this verse, the Lord also speaks of the living entity as an eternal fragment of myself. The fragment of God, the living entity, may fall down into the material world, but the Supreme Lord, Achyutya, never falls down. Therefore, this assumption that the Supreme Brahman assumes the forms of Jiva is not acceptable. It is important to remember that in Vedic literature, Brahman, the living entity, is distinguished from Parabrahman, the Supreme Lord. Hare Krishna.
Next devotee.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Mata, go ahead.
Adibhutam Sharubhavaha Purushasa Chadidevatam Adiyam Yagno Aham Vatra Dehe Dehabritam Varaha. O best of the embodied being, the physical nature, which is constantly changing, is called Adibhuta, the material manifestation, the universal form of the Lord, which includes all the demigods, like those of the sun and the moon, is called Adi Deva. And I, the Supreme Lord, represented as the super soul in the heart of every embodied being, am called Adi Yagna, the Lord of Sacrifice. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The physical nature is constantly changing. Material bodies generally pass through six stages. They are born, they grow, they remain for some duration, they produce some byproducts, they dwell it, and then they vanish. This physical nature is called Adibhuta. It is created at a certain point and will be annihilated at a certain point. The conception of the universal form of the Supreme Lord, which includes all the demigods and their different planets, is called Adideva. And present in the body along with the individual soul is the super soul, a plenary representation of Lord Krishna. The super soul is called the Paramatma or Adi Yagna and is situated in the heart. The word Eva is particularly important in the context of this verse, because by this word the Lord stressed that the Paramatma is not different from him. The super soul, the supreme personality of Godhead, seated beside individual soul, is the witness of the individual soul's activities and is the source of souls of various types of consciousness. The super soul gives the individual soul an opportunity to act freely and witnesses his activities. The functions of all these different manifestations of the Supreme Lord automatically become clarified for the pure Krishna conscious devotee engaged in the transcendental service to the Lord. The gigantic universal form of the Lord called Adi Devata is completed by the neophyte who cannot approach the Supreme Lord is in his manifestation as a super soul. The neophyte is advised to complete the universal form, or Vrita Purus, whose legs are considered the lower planet, whose eyes are considered the sun and the moon, and whose head is considered the upper planetary system.
Very good. Next devotee, please be ready. I want to just add something. When you read two purport, seems like with so many things going on in our life, the heart is full of unwanted things, but then all these 5 types of jagna has to be done. Otherwise, you won't get purified. But Srila Prabhupada gives a very nice conclusion on that. So I want everybody to remember this. If we cannot offer our heart means what we're thinking, what we are feeling. Heart is not something different. Heart means what we are thinking, what we are feeling, what we are aware. This combination of what makes the heart. I think in the first day I asked the question, where is the heart? And anybody remembers that? The soul's heart? Right now, how do we have access to our heart?
Consciousness.
No, little more.
It's near to our heart.
Near to our heart. What? What is near to the heart?
It's the five kind of airs upon where.
That's the soul. Soul is floating on the 5 kind of air.
Yes.
I think it's 217. Just mean prana panchada sangvives. Yeah, that reading. But that's not the heart. Please remember, write it down maybe.
That is the heart, Prabhuji, the physical heart, that is the left heart of the region. You told the word region.
The physical heart is physical heart. What you are saying, physical heart is on the left. But the soul, where
Center
is the
of
soul
consciousness,
in this body?
Prabhu. Center of consciousness.
Who said that?
It's pervaded throughout the body as a consciousness.
I'm sorry, it's too many devotees same time. Somebody say it is a center of our consciousness. That is correct, whoever said that. That is correct. This is what Prabhupada said. Wonderful, Mother Priyanka. So, we must remember, where is the soul? I am the soul. I'm not this body. I'm not this mind. Majority people in this world identify self as a mind or the body. Just like this Prabhu, we said, let's do a test. So we asked this Prabhu, so you're going to take sannyas, you thinking? He said, yes. That gentleman was saying something about you. He said, what? He said, you are interested to marry a Mataji. He said, no, I'm not interested. I said, we just caught you. You said you are not this body, you always promote, but as soon as we mentioned about the bodily relation, you immediately reacted. It is easy to say I'm not this body, but it's difficult to act on that I'm not this body. It's very difficult. When I asked one Mataji, purposely, I asked that Mataji, would you marry to this other Mataji? I was hurt. So why you asking like this? This is horrible. I don't want to marry a lady. I said, so you are this body. Is the soul that you are, is a girl or a boy? We can say easy. I mean, I'm not trying to put anybody down or anything. It's easy to say I'm not this body, but it's very difficult to act that I'm not this body. Another biggest difficulty there is the mind. Whatever I'm thinking, filtering through the mind. Mind is like a computer. Just imagine. or telephone or computer, say imagine computer. Whatever the information coming in email, it could be a garbage. Is it the fault of the computer or is it the person who sent it is garbage? You got an email through the computer and it is a bad email. Is it the fault of the computer that you got the bad email?
No.
So try to imagine the mind like this. When we say mind is the friend, that Prabhu, Kaivalya Prabhu read Prabhupada's translation, that you have to deliver yourself with the help of mind. Mind is not a, we say mind is bad, mind is chanchal, that's true, but mind is actually a filter. The soul is filtering, like I have a red glass. I see everything red. Is it the fault of the soul? Yes, in one sense, because he's using the red glass. Is it the fault of the red glass? Not really. You take off the red glass, put a clear glass, you'll see clear. You put a green glass, you'll see green. So mind is a filter that we see through. Three things are coming from us: thinking, willing, feeling. It's emanating all the time. How it filters through? It goes through a layer of intelligence, then mind, then vital, then sensual. So where we focus, that's what we say. Just like you'll see within few texts that it will say that whatever at the moment of death, whatever mood, bhava you have, you'll go there. So now you're thinking like, so we have to develop bhav, we have to get attached to Krishna, we have to, no, you already have this. You just have to shift. When you say attached to your guru, attached to Krishna, it's not like you have to develop new attachment. You just have to shift your attachment. Attachment is eternally with you. Soul cannot be without attachment. But we use the language, oh, we need to attach Krishna, we need to, means you have to shift. Sometimes we use the language, you know, we say, are you out of your mind? No, you're not out of your mind, means you are not focused on that subject. So we use that language, but that doesn't mean you don't have a mind. We say that, you know, I mean, I use that too. Are you out of your mind? No, that doesn't mean he doesn't have a mind. He has a mind, but he's not focused on what he's supposed to focus. So similarly, we have an attachment. We are saying in this Bhagavad Gita that shift the attachment from material to spiritual. That's all. Nothing new you have to do, but that Krishna cannot do for you. Guru cannot do. Nobody can do. They can only help you. You have a choice. That is up to you. You have to shift it. That's why in 11th chapter, when we come in few weeks, you'll see that Krishna is very nicely explaining to Arjuna that how he already killed everybody. But what is the part of Arjuna that Arjuna has to experience through? This is what we have to experience through. Try to remember this. Krishna has the result. What you want in life, I already mentioned that. What Krishna wants is your endeavor, then he will give you. It's as simple as this. So let's focus on this. If we cannot offer our heart, everybody understood, right? Where's the heart? Center of consciousness. So if we cannot offer our heart because our heart is thinking enjoyment, this, that, so many things. If we cannot offer your heart to Krishna, then we can offer what is in our heart to Krishna. Can you remember this? If you cannot offer your heart to Krishna, offer what you have in the heart to Krishna. We all long for love. We do. We are longing for love. This longing attains lasting and complete fulfillment when we direct it towards Krishna. Because he is eternal and all attractive. And most importantly, he already loves us. This is another thing in the Gajendra Moksha. There are a few verses so attractive. We must remember this. It's not that Krishna has to love us. Krishna eternally loving us. Krishna's love is like a sunshine. And my position, I am in a dark room. Now let me ask you a question. Sun is very bright, powerful. But if my blind is down, I'm in a dark room. Can sun help me to remove the darkness in my room? Please answer me.
No, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Good answer. So I have to get up and open the blind. Similarly, I have to give my heart connecting to Krishna, serving him. Then journey is over. It sounds easy, but it's not easy because we have so many impressions. So many things we want. We want prestige, adoration, distinction. I can relate to this in my own life. As I was advancing and I was looking for, if there is a better speaker, I would be a little jealous. I'm telling you honestly, because I don't want to have that anymore. And I pray and it's working. But before I used to be jealous. If somebody speak better than me, if somebody has a better understanding than me, I would, why not me? Why not me? Hari Baba, I should be happy. It says, Gunadikam mudam lipshat. If you see a good quality in another devotee, your heart should be joyful. You should be happy. Wow, this devotee has better than my understanding. I want to get it. I should be happy instead of jealousy. Three things you have in your heart right now. If you have these three qualities, instantly you can be released from the material suffering. If you see another devotee has a better quality, good quality in his understanding or her understanding, it could be Mataji or Prabhu, either one, then it should illuminate our heart as a joyful mood. Number two, Gunadikam mudam lipshit, Guna adamat, Anukrusham Guna adamat. And if you see somebody don't have a good understanding, then you naturally have a tenderness to help that person. Naturally. Nobody has to tell you. You feel like, I want to help that devotee. He or her, she don't have a good understanding. I want to help. And then third one, Maitreya Samannat. If you have natural friendship, respecting the higher Vaishnava, affectionate to the junior one, and a good friendship. You know, good friendship means? Good friendship doesn't mean when I talk, I am talking everybody else. No, good friendship means I am eager to hear that friend's realization and not interrupting. It's very difficult. It's easy to say, very difficult. In my practical life, I saw that it's very difficult. But if we can do this, you are literally instantly liberated. That's not our goal, but you will be. The material suffering will not touch you. You will still get old. You'll still have a wrinkle or gray hair or whatever. You don't have to dye your hair, but you will not be affected. Okay, so back to this. What should we do then? Directing our love towards Krishna is not easy. We all have loved many worldly things, many of which may attract us even today. Consequently, as compared to Krishna, our heart tends to get attracted to worldly things far more easily quickly and forcefully. Often offering our heart to Krishna is so difficult. This we should remember, that as you progress, your inside your heart, unfulfilled desire, all these things may pour out. You may feel like a strong desire to even enjoy more than even outsider. You must have to have a good association who can actually help you to get out of that. It is there in a dormant. As you progress, Chaitanya Charitamrita says that as you progress, the unwanted things will just pop. Why? Because when you watering the nice plant, all the weeds also getting watered. I'm so sincerely chanting, I'm so advancing, I'm thinking of Krishna, meditating, unwanted things also popping. If you are not a good gardener, you don't know the difference between the bhakti plant and the weeds plant. Sometimes weeds looks even more prettier than the bhakti plant, just to divert you. Be careful. You may grow the anarthas. And Arjuna went through this. And every devotee goes through this. It's not exceptional for anyone. So we have to be very discriminating. Devotee association, higher devotee association means we learn the skill, how to identify those fine points and not let our consciousness get polluted by that. There was a one sannyasi, I won't say the name, he's a good friend of mine, he fell down. But he says, when he used to come to LA temple, oh, I should not even say the temple name. Anyway, there was a 300-400 devotees, they would all bow down. He said, I would love those days. It would be like a better than cake in my feeling. That everybody is like bow down, whatever I say, it was like a very delighting in a prestige, adoration, distinction. It's called PAD, P-A-D. Prestige, adoration, and distinction is a deadly anarthas. Literally a deadly. So, number 5, text 5. Can somebody read, please?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, one quick question, like when we were reading third chapter, 342, that Indriyani Prana
Ahur Indriya Paramanam.
Yeah. So like context is
Manastu para buddhi, buddhistu paratatsya. What is that verse represent, Prabhu?
Yeah, like here intelligence is still higher than the mind. When we were discussing the mind filters, and like so mind is the one who decides like what to accept, what to reject. So mind it seems kind of like mind is the one who controls the intelligence. So mind is the superior. But here it said like mind is the intelligence is the superior than mind. So it contradicts a little bit to me. So
maybe Prabhu, you can make a little note. That verse that you quoted, Indriyani Parani Ahur Indriya Paramanam, Manastu Para Buddhi, Buddhistu Paratasya. That verse is called material hierarchy. Can you remember that? Just write it down. Material hierarchy. There is a spiritual hierarchy, there is a material hierarchy. Hierarchy means what is superior to other one that has a controlling power. When you are sleeping in your bed, if I talk to your dad, where is Ramshyam Prabhu? What is your dad going to say? You are sleeping. But maybe you are dreaming. You went to Louis Bazaar. I'm just giving, don't take it personally. I'm just giving you like, Louis Bazaar is a common area. Everybody goes there in Vrindavan. So you went to Louis Bazaar and you're doing shopping in your dream world. So what is that proofs in the hierarchy? The body, the sensual body is lower than the mind. Mind created the dream body and mind is active. You follow?
Yeah.
But the physical senses are collapsed. You're sleeping, they're not active. So this discussion proves that mind is higher than these physical senses. Now, did you ever go to deep sleep?
Yeah.
Deep sleep means you have no idea what you are doing during the deep sleep. Only you remember after you came out of it. And you go like this stress. I had a good 4-hour sleep. How do you know it was good or bad? You don't remember anything. Because you don't have a memory, you think like, oh, it was good. Okay, that's fine. How do you know you existed there? Because intelligence was active. The mental body, the dream dissolved. Dream was not there. Physically, you are not there. Dream were not there. What kept you alive? You are using the glasses of intelligence. That proves intelligence is higher than the mind. So like this, those examples shows that higher means has a power to control the lower. If you take shelter of intelligence, your mind can be collapsed. I want everybody to remember this. When you remember your guru's instruction or shastra instruction, that is called knowledge. When you apply it to your consciousness, you're going to do this. That is called intelligence. The difference between these two. When you apply this, so when you apply this, at that time you act on it. All the opposition will be created by mind. But if you go with it, Gurudev says, or Prabhupada said to chant, I'm going to chant. Mind is thinking, just you can rest a little bit and then go and chant a little later. And you think, no, you're making the decision, but you are very sharp that you see the mind is on one side, standing and giving the offering, and the intelligence also giving the offering. No, I think you should go with it. And then you choose intelligence, you go there. That time, mind is your friend. When intelligence controls the mind, mind is your friend. But if you listen to the mind and say, you know what, I just forget it. I'm just going to eat some ice cream and go to sleep. Sure enough, mind just took over by the intelligence under the mind now. Before intelligence was above the mind, then mind is your friend. When mind is over the intelligence, is your enemy. So one of the easiest way that if you remember the instruction of Guru Krishna and act on that, you're always mind your friend. But not easy. It's not that easy. Because we have too many impressions from previous life, so many, it pulls it back. Srila Prabhupada said, when you finish chanting, okay, what should I do? Now, Krishna is standing here, and Maya is standing in his back. Maya said, I know Ram, Sham Prabhu, you wanted to be the king of Hawaii. You know, there is a nice scenery, you can see these. Maya has all these things. And Krishna says, well, if you want me, you can also think of me and come back to me. But choice you have to make.
Yes.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's
Thank you.
very good, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Mother Shamala Gopika. Please read. Dhanavad.
Prabhu, I just have one doubt. So this, when we say that the intelligence is actually deciding, so is it not the soul is acting on any platform, because the soul desire of the soul only, it is everything is happening, right? So how we say that, is it the soul is deciding or is the intelligence is deciding?
If you are looking at me with the red glasses, are you looking? I look like a red. Is it you looking or the red glasses looking? Who is looking?
I'm looking, but wearing the red glass.
Oh, so you answer your question. Red glass is the intelligent or red glass is the mind. It depends what you use. But your soul is experiencing, but not necessarily it is good. Because if I'm seeing everything red and as a soul, I think everything is red. Well, that's not true. I was using red glasses. But when I take off the red glass, things are not red. They're green. There are so many colors. So we are confused by that. It makes sense?
Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So who is reading next?
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Text 5.
Antakale च मामेव स्मरन् मुक्ता कलेवरं याप्रयाति शमद्भावं याति नास्त्यत्र संशयः. And whoever at the end of his life quiets his body, remembering me alone at once attain my nature. Of this there is no doubt. Purport. In this verse, the importance of Krishna consciousness is stressed. Anyone who quiets his body in Krishna consciousness is at once transferred to the transcendental nature of the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord is the purest of the pure. Therefore, anyone who is constantly Krishna conscious is also the purest of the pure. The word smaran, remembering, is important. Remembrance of Krishna is not possible for the impure soul who has not practiced Krishna consciousness in devotional service. Therefore, one should practice Krishna consciousness from the very beginning of life. If one wants to achieve success at the end of his life, the process of remembering Krishna is essential. Therefore, one should constantly incessantly chant the Mahamantra Hare Krishna, Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Lord Chaitanya has advised that one be as tolerant as a tree. Taror eva sahisnuna. There may be so many impediments for a person who is chanting Hare Krishna. Nonetheless, tolerating all these impediments, one should continue to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare, so that at the end of one's life, one can have the full benefit of Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. You know, I want to finish up to 10, but this purport is so important. Can anyone answer me, please? Without absorption on Krishna, can I go to Golok Vrindavan?
No.
It's a simple answer, yes or no?
No.
No? Very good. And if you want to know details, it's 7.Bhagavatam 7.1.28-29. 6 types of people. 6 types of people enter into spiritual domain. Out of those 6, 2 are unfavorable. But all the 6 has a one common thing. Abeshotu agam hitta bahovoto gatim gata. Abeshotu, abesh means absorption. Without absorption, you cannot remember Krishna. Now, in Nectar Devotion, chapter 10, Nectar Devotion, chapter 10, Srila Prabhupada said very secret how to remember Krishna. He says, some way or other, if someone establishes he in his or her mind his continuous relationship with Krishna, this relationship is called remembrance. Can somebody paraphrase and tell me what I just said? This is from Nectar Devotion, chapter 10. There's two things essential. If you want to remember Krishna more than a minute, you have to memorize this.
This one.
Now, Srila Prabhupada said that Smaran means some way or other, if you can establish in your mind, this is the key point. Everybody understand the difference between the heart and the mind? Heart is like my face. Mind is like a mirror. Mahaprabhu says, did not say Cheta. He said Cheta Darpana. Darpan means mirror. You follow? Cheta Darpana Marjanam. Whatever is in the heart, it will reflect to the mind. You cannot change it. It's just a reflection. So when our heart is clean, our mind is automatically clean. That's why Mahaprabhu used a very sophisticated way. Cheta Darpana. Cheta means Chetana or consciousness. Consciousness, when it's reflect in the mirror, Darpan. Darpan in Sanskrit means mirror. I think in Hindi also probably they say, I'm not sure. Then it is very easy to understand. So you have to establish something in your heart. What you can establish? A relationship. Without relationship with Krishna, you cannot remember him more than few minutes. So what relationship, Mother Dipti Goyal, what relationship can you establish with Krishna right now?
Prabhuji, I can only establish relationship with Krishna is in Dasya Bhav.
Very good.
Whenever I look at him, I feel that I am Dasanudasanudas.
Very good. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says in Harinam Chintamani, do not try to establish any relationship with Mahaprabhu except Daisya, and that is the supreme of all rasa. Because when Daisya is mature, you can memorize that verse or you don't have to. Kuno bhagye kuno jive shraddha judi hoy, tabe sei jiv dasya rase gauranga bhajay. Dasya paripakke jabe jive hridaye, si madhur rasude murtiman hai. Se samaye bhajaniya tattva gaura hari. I used to memorize this Harinam Chintamani because they have a very conclusive siddhanta, how to chant, how to do. So he said that you develop a relationship. My Lord, you are my Prabhu, I'm your servant. That's all. No need friendship, no need lover, all this, no need. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says when Daisya, servitorship matures, it matures. Everybody understand this, right? When Daisya matures, automatically Mahaprabhu will take you to Vrindavan and he will reveal yourself, the relationship you have with them. You don't need to separately endeavor. Imagination, I am monkey in Vrindavan, I am a peacock. Srila Prabhupada was going on the roof of long building in Mayapur, and through the window he saw a Canadian devotee. He's going like this, you know. And he looked through the window and said, what is going on? So they knocked the door and said, what are you doing? He said, oh, I went other side and this Babaji said, I am a peacock in Vrindavan. So I'm practicing. He said, I should practice. I'm practicing while I'm chanting. I'm laughing, but Prabhupada was not laughing. He was furious. He was so angry. He said, there is no such philosophy that you imitate your original Swarup. Your original Swarup will naturally manifest when the heart is clean. When our consciousness is purified, our original relationship is already set. You will not pull out something from your heart which is not there. So whatever your relationship is there, you can pull it out. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur said you have to start it with Dasyaras. You meditate. Just for 3 minutes, I want everybody to just be in your place. I should have brought that. But anyway, what I want you to do, just imagine you make many garlands, maybe 10 garlands. And you're going to start with Srila Prabhupada. And you give pranam to Prabhupada and offer a garland. And then you walk with Prabhupada to his Guru Maharaj, Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur, garland him. Go to Gaur Kishore Babaji, garland him, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, like this. Just close for 1 minute, 3 minutes, and just go through like this while we are chanting and meditate, and just offer garland all the way to Mahaprabhu, all the way up. Ready? 1, 2, and 3. Close your eye and just offer the garland to Prabhupada. And keep on chanting. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Offer the garland to Gaur Kishore Babaji. And then go to the next person. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur sitting there. Offer the garland there. You are with Prabhupada, keep going. You're chanting in your mind. You give a garland to Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. Then with Prabhupada, you keep on going. There is Baladev Vidyabhushan Thakur sitting down in his asana. You offer a beautiful, fragrant flower garland, pay obeisances. And with Prabhupada, you keep on going. There is Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur under this beautiful tree in Vrindavan. Offer this beautiful, fragrant champaka flower garland to his neck. Pay obeisances. Then you keep on going. You came to Narottam Das Thakur. He's crying for Ramchandra Kaviraj. And you bow down and give him the garland beautiful. He loves champaka flower garland too. His name is Champaka Manjari. And you keep on going with Prabhupada. The next Guru Parampara, above Narottam Das Thakur. Then comes, you can meet Jiva Goswami Pad, you can give garland. Raghunath Das Goswami Pad, you give garland. All 6 Goswamis, Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Gopal Bhatta Goswami. Then finally you come to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And you beautifully give the garland to Mahaprabhu. And give garland to Nityananda Prabhu, Sri Advaita Prabhu, Sri Srivas Thakur, and Gadadhar Prabhu on the left side of Mahaprabhu. Left side also Srivas Prabhu. Right side is all Vishnu Tattva, Nityananda Prabhu and Advaita Prabhu. And you raised your hand and you're paying obeisances. And then with Prabhupada, you are going to go further even Ishwarpuri and Madhavendrapuri, and then you sit down there. He is the seed of love of Godhead. Mahaprabhu planted it. He made the big trunk. Advaita and Nityananda is the 2 big branch. And Srila Prabhupada said there is a ISKCON also has a branch there. And you are finding yourself in Mahaprabhu's family, entering into Golok Vrindavan with that ecstasy mood. Okay, that took, I think, more than 3 minutes, 4 minutes. Thank you. You can meditate many ways, literary and chant. You can chant in mental body, you can meditate on Krishna, you can meditate on Tulasi Maharani, how she served this, we chant every day, Nikunja Juna Ratikeli Siddhei. So many confidential in the Mangalarti prayers. When we're going to meditate, without meditation on Krishna, you cannot, without absorption on Krishna, you cannot purify. It will take long, long time. And Srila Prabhupada, the essence of all advice, anybody remember reading that? Essence of all advice is only one sloka. Nectar of instruction. Tannamaru pacharitar sukirtananu smritta kramena rasana manasana. Ishtan braje tadunuragi jananugami. Kalam nayet akilam iti upadesha saram. Upadesha saram. Essence of all advice is this. Physically, you can be wherever you are in this world. Mentally, you serve in Vrindavan. Vrindavan is a state of consciousness, not physical proximity. When your consciousness come to that level, then you are transferred to there. And Srila Prabhupada gave the best purport I ever saw. He gave this breakdown how to meditate. There's a 5 stages of remembrance he gives. In the purport, you read it. Shravan dasa, dharan dasa, dhyana dasa, dhruvana smriti, and samadhi. And you may have a fear, oh gosh, if I do this, then who will take care of my job and money, car and shopping? Oh, don't worry, nothing will be disturbed. Rather, you will be joyful. You will do the same service, but ecstasy in your heart. People may not understand. They may think, what's crazy? You are always happy. What's wrong? Don't worry. This is what Kamsa also didn't understand about Devaki. When Krishna appeared in the womb, Kamsa saw she used to be scared of me. But now she's happy. She's singing and drawing all these things on the wall. And Kamsa said, Devaki, what's wrong? I'm here. Aren't you afraid? She's not even aware that Kamsa is talking to her. She's in her own world with Krishna, in her body. And she's drawing beautiful and she's singing beautiful. This is required. You can be joyfully performing your spiritual life while you are in this body, in this world. This is necessary. At that time, all the shackles of this world are cut up into pieces. So we are going to go up to 10 if we can. Who is the next person reading? Text 6.
Prabhuji, can I read?
Yes.
Text 6. Yam yam vapi smran bhavam tayajanti kalevaram tam tame vati konte sada tadat bhavita. Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, O son of Kunti, that state he will attain without fail. The process of changing one's nature at the critical moment of death is here explained. A person who at the end of his life quits his body thinking of Krishna attains the transcendental nature of the Supreme Lord. But it is not true that a person who thinks of something other than Krishna attains the same transcendental state. This is
Can you read that again?
Yes, Prabhu. A person who at the end of his life quits his body thinking of Krishna attains the transcendental nature of the Supreme Lord. But it is not true that a person who thinks of something other than Krishna attains the same transcendental state. This is a point we should note very carefully. How can one die in the proper state of mind? Maharaja Bharat, although a great personality, thought of a deer at the end of his life, and so in his next life he was transferred into the body of a deer. Although as a deer he remembered his past activities, he had to accept that animal body. Of course, one's thought during the course of one's life accumulates to influence one's thoughts at the moment of death. So this life creates one's next life. If in one's present life one lives in the mode of goodness and always thinks of Krishna, it is possible for one to remember Krishna at the end of one's life. That will help one to one be transferred to the transcendental nature of Krishna. If one is transcendently absorbed in Krishna's service, then his next body will be transcendental, spiritual, not material. Therefore, the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, is the best process for successfully changing one's state of being at the end of one's life. Thank you.
Very good. Next, devotee. Mother Shyamala Gopika, did you read?
I can read.
Yes, please.
Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anushmarayutya cha mai arpita manobuddhir mam ye vaishyasya samshayah. Therefore, Arjuna, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna and at the same time carry out your prescribed duty of fighting. With your activities dedicated to me and your mind and intelligence fixed on me, you will attain me without doubt. This instruction to Arjuna is very important for all men engaged in material activities. The Lord does not say that one should give up his prescribed duties or engagements. One can continue them and at the same time think of Krishna by chanting Hare Krishna. This will free one from the material contamination and engage the mind and intelligence in Krishna. By chanting Krishna's names, one will be transferred to the supreme planet Krishna Loka without a doubt. Thank you.
Very good. So Krishna told to Arjuna, give up all the religion, yeah, Sarva Dharman, all the dharma. Did he not fight? That was his Kshatriya dharma also. So this purport explained that. Give up all dharma doesn't mean what you are born with you can give up. It's not possible. Arjuna born as a fighter. Prabhupada purport is so wonderful. Arjuna born as a fighter, so Krishna engaged. So whatever intention, inclination you have, try to engage this. Do not run away, please. People often equate devotion with feel-good emotions or ritualistic actions. If they feel good while practicing bhakti, or if they execute religious rituals diligently, they think they are devoted. I'm sure some of you experience this in your life, or still maybe experience sometime like this. Yes, emotions and actions are important in devotion, but they alone do not comprise devotion. Please remember this. Intention and attention are also most important. Intention and attention. Complement with intention. Say when we practice Krishna consciousness, whether chanting or cooking or whatever service you are doing, we may sometimes feel good, sometimes not, isn't? When worldly desire dominates our consciousness, our bhakti practices feels tasteless. How can we preserve in bhakti? That is the question. By meditating on our core intention to develop a loving relationship with Krishna. To help us solidify this devotional intention, Bhagavad Gita provides a philosophical framework. What it does, it explains that we are soul, part of Krishna. This you have to keep on talking to your own mind. In Teachings of Lord Chaitanya, you know the small book Prabhupada wrote, separately from Chaitanya Charitamrita. He took 5 chapters. And in the introduction, he says, every day we should talk to our mind. We should preach our mind. What are you going to preach? We are soul. Do not say servant of Krishna first. You may not grasp it, but this is maybe you know. First, you separate yourself from the matter. That you are Brahman, you are spiritual being. First, you separate from the material world. Say, I'm a spirit soul. I'm part of Krishna. And meant to delight in eternal love for him. We can attain that love by practicing the process of Bhakti Yoga. How? Understanding how important cultivating devotion is. We don't stop practicing Bhakti just because we don't feel like doing it. As we would not stop doing our job because we don't feel like doing it. When we complement emotion with intention, we bring steadiness into our connection with Krishna. Can you remember that? when you complement emotion with intention, then you can bring steadiness into your connection with Krishna. You may say, well, how do you complement the action with the attention? Maybe we can discuss 1 minute that even when we practice bhakti steadily, we may still do it ritualistically. Okay, 16 down, Haribol, time is up, let's start chanting. We do like a kind of like a ritualistic. Out of deference to cultural convention or religious tradition. But such ritualistic devotion is like going to work. I'm sure you all have an experience of working outside, some job or something. If you look at their life, or your life, when you were working before or now, just to mark our attendance instead of working attentively to get things done. Can you see that? Like such ritualistic devotion is like going to work. For what? Just to mark our attendance. I'm at work, 10 o'clock, I arrived at my office. Or you punch the, worksheet or something. They do here. So our attendance, instead of working attentively to get things done. When we practice Krishna consciousness, we are not meant to just mark our attendance. Haribol, I'm 10 o'clock, I'm here. So what should we do? We are meant to invest our attention in doing them, like chanting or cooking, whatever. You make your intention, okay, I want to please Krishna. I heard we should cook always under Radharani's. How should I meditate? This intention that you're thinking, that I want to cook under Radharani's guidance, this intention, and you pay a little more attention, will capture the heart of Radharani. Every soul has a connection with Radha Krishna. And more you put your attention and your intention is very clear, you will be mystically feeling different mood, different vibration within you, that you feel naturally very devotional and very happy, healthy, spiritually. This is bound to happen. When we practice Krishna consciousness, we are not meant, that's why I mentioned, just to mark our attendance at certain rituals. Even though we do it every day, Mangalarti on time, Japa on time, or Prasadam on time, like this. But we are meant to invest our attention in doing them. Knowing that these practices actually offer us precious opportunity to connect our consciousness with Krishna and to experience his presence. And when you do this, or you connect yourself internally by emotion and intention, as well as externally by attentive action with Krishna, you are guaranteed to attain him. This is the summary of this sloka. Tasmat sarvesu kalesu mamanusmara juddhacha mayarpita manobuddhi mamevasya samsara. This is so important. This verse is so important. Next verse, someone can read, please.
Can I read, Prabhuji?
Go ahead. Mother Swarupini Radhika after.
Okay.
She also said the same time. Okay, go ahead.
Abhyasa yoga yuktena chetasa nanya gamina paramam purusham divyam yati partha no chintayam. Translation: He who meditates on me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his mind constantly engaged in remembering me, undeviated from the path, he, O Partha, is sure to reach me. Purport: In this verse, Lord Krishna stresses the importance of remembering him. One's memory of Krishna is revived by chanting the Maha Mantra Hare Krishna. By this practice of chanting and hearing the sound vibration of the Supreme Lord, one's ear, tongue, and mind are engaged. This mystic meditation is very easy to practice and it helps one attain the Supreme Lord. Purusha means enjoyer. Although living entities belong to the marginal energy of the Supreme Lord, they are in material contamination. They think themselves enjoyers, but they are not the supreme enjoyer. Here, it is clearly stated that the supreme enjoyer is the supreme personality of Godhead in his different manifestations and plenary expansions as Narayana, Vasudeva, etc. The devotee can constantly think of the object of worship, the Supreme Lord, in any of his features, Narayana, Krishna, Rama, etc., by chanting Hare Krishna. This practice will purify him, and at the end of his life, due to his constant chanting, he will be transferred to the kingdom of God. Yoga practice is meditation on the super soul within. Similarly, by chanting Hare Krishna, one fixes his mind always on the Supreme Lord. The mind is fickle, and therefore it is necessary to engage the mind by force to think of Krishna. One example often given is that of the caterpillar that thinks of becoming butterfly and so is transformed into a butterfly in the same life. Similarly, if we constantly think of Krishna, it is certain that at the end of our lives, we shall have the same bodily constitution as Krishna. Thank you.
Very good. Their question may raise somebody else supposed to read. Mother Swarupini Radhika, I think. Question may arise. At one moment we are absorbed in devotional thoughts. Suddenly, next moment we become submerged, sensual, or even immoral thoughts. Why is spiritual life so unstable? As you read, Prabhupada says mind is fickle. You just read, right, in the purport. It's very nice, very beautiful purport. Then Prabhupada gives the answer, therefore it is necessary to engage the mind by force. Can you write it down? Chanting japa means, Prabhupada said, forced meditation. Prabhupada did not say just meditation, he says forced, means you have to force yourself. I want to think of Krishna, I want to chant. You have to force. Oh, 5 more minutes, we have to finish it, yes. Okay, next Mother Swarupini Radha, we have to finish the next sloka.
Kavim Puranam Anushasitaram Anor Anyamasam Anusmaredyaha Sarvasya Dataram Achintya Rupam Aditya Varnam Tamasaha Parastat. One should meditate upon the Supreme Person as the one who knows everything, as he who is the oldest, who is the controller, and who is smaller than the smallest, who is maintainer of everything, who is beyond all material conception, who is inconceivable, and who is always a person. He is luminous like the sun, and he is transcendental beyond this material nature. Purport. The process of thinking of the Supreme is mentioned in this verse. The foremost point is that he is not impersonal or void. One cannot meditate on something impersonal or void. That is very difficult. The process of thinking of Krishna, however, is very easy and is factually stated herein. First of all, the Lord is Purusha, a person. We think of the person Rama and the person Krishna. And whether one thinks of Rama or of Krishna, what he is like is described in this verse of Bhagavad Gita. The Lord is Kavi, that is, he knows past, present, and future, and therefore knows everything. He is the oldest personality because he is the origin of everything. Everything is born out of him. He is also the supreme controller of the universe, and he is the maintainer and instructor of humanity. He is smaller than the smallest. The living entity is 1/10,000th part of the tip of the hair. But the Lord is so inconceivably small that he enters into the heart of this particle. Therefore, he is called smaller than the smallest. As a supreme, he can enter into the atom and into the heart of the smallest and control him as a super soul. Although so small, he is still all pervading and is maintaining everything. By him, all these planetary systems are sustained. We often wonder how these big planets are floating in the air. It is stated here that the Supreme Lord, by his inconceivable energy, is sustaining all these big planets and system of galaxies. The word achintya is very significant in this connection. God's energy is beyond our conception, beyond our thinking jurisdictions, and is therefore called inconceivable. Who can argue with this point? He pervades this material world and yet is beyond it. We cannot comprehend even this material world, which is insignificant compared to the spiritual world. So, how can we comprehend what is beyond? Achintya means that which is beyond this material world, that which our argument. Logic and philosophical speculation cannot touch that which is inconceivable. Therefore, intelligent persons avoiding useless argument and speculation should accept what is stated in scriptures like the Vedas, Bhagavad Gita, and Srimad Bhagavatam and follow the principles they set down. This will lead one to understanding. Thank you.
Very good. Next person, next devotee. Mother Swarupini Radhika, can you tell me what you just read, one line, what do you remember without looking at it?
Yes, Prabhu, it's like we have to just accept the Shastras without thinking.
Okay, what did you accept from the Shastra? You just read so many quality of Krishna.
Yeah,
just give me one, two.
Krishna is Purusha. And he can be the smaller than the smallest and
bigger than the biggest also. Good.
Yes.
Do you know what's the difference when another philosophy said Allahu Akbar? Allahu Akbar means God is great. Lalla, Hilallah, Rasulullah, Bismillah. I was reading the translation after 9/11 and I had a friend from Pakistan. He was teaching in the mosque here. It was very interesting. And actually he took Bhagavad Gita because just on that base, when you say God is great, Allahu Akbar, that is true. We also accept. Very nice. That part Muhammad says. But the greatness is not calculated by the biggest only. Can you catch this? He's a very philosophical minded, this professor from Pakistan, and he took it. He said, wow. I said, when you say La Allah Hilallah, God is big, bigger than biggest. God's greatness is calculated not only by the bigger than biggest, it has to be also smaller than smallest. Why? In order to answer purpose. If you cannot calculate both sides, then you cannot say God is great. Here, the English Prabhupada gave, and also Prabhupada gave that Sanskrit. Anar aniya mahato mahiyan atmasya jantu nihito guhayam tamakrit pashyati Gita sukha dhatu prasadan mohimanatan. The verse gives that explanation that Krishna is smaller than smallest. How smaller than smallest? Mother Swarupini Radhika. We are the smaller than smallest, no? Mother Swarupini Radhika, what did you get from that purport? Are we the smallest or Krishna is the smallest?
Not in the qualities. Krishna is always greater in qualities.
Okay.
But as Prabhupada mentioned in this purport that he can be smaller than the smallest and he can enter into those atoms and maintain there also.
Yes. He is not can, he is.
Sorry, he is. Sorry.
He is in the atom. And you know who is in the atom? Another lecture Prabhupada said. He is with Radharani in the atom, the whole Brajadham, and all these millions of gopis and all these millions of coward boys, they are also in the atom. Can you figure it out how the space of the atom is? It's inconceivable.
Yeah.
This is inconceivable. We have to accept, if we can believe that Shastra says, then we will experience mystical. If we put logic and argument, we will not. Thank you. Yes, Mother Aditi Lota, you wanted to say something?
No, yes, you already answered.
Okay, one more, then we'll end with this. Can we read one more? 10. Someone?
Yeah, Prabhuji, I will read.
Okay, Prabhu.
प्रायेण काले मनसा चलेना भक्त्या युक्तो योग बालेन चैव भ्रूमोर मध्ये प्रणाम वैश्य सम्या वक्ततं परम पुरुषम उपैत दिव्यम. And the translation and purport by His Divine Grace Savacharna Bhakti Vedant Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. One who at the time of death fixes his mind here between the eyebrows and by the strength of yoga with an undeviated mind engages himself in remembering the Supreme Lord in full devotion will certainly attain the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the purport, in this verse, it is clearly stated that at the time of death, the mind must be fixed in devotion to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For those practiced in yoga, it is recommended that they raise the life force between the eyebrows to the
Agna chakra.
Agna chakra.
It's right here in between the two eyebrows, right here.
Yeah. The practice of Sat Chakra Yoga involving meditation on the sixth chakra is suggested here. A pure devotee does not practice such yoga, but because he is always engaged in Krishna consciousness, at death he can remember the Supreme Personality of Godhead by His grace. This is explained in verse 14. The particular use of the word yoga balena is significant in this verse because without practice of yoga, whether Sat Chakra Yoga or Bhakti Yoga, one cannot come to the transcendental state of being at the time of death. One cannot suddenly remember the Supreme Lord at death. One must have practiced some yoga system, especially the system of Bhakti Yoga. Since one's mind at death is very disturbed, one should practice transcendence through yoga during one's life.
Very good. Thank you. So we'll end here with this note that for Krishna, no problem is too big or too small. When you have a problem or I have a problem, do not focus on the problem. Focus on Krishna, and your problem will become insignificant. And believe me, I practice myself this. 100% it works. You will have I want everybody to have can you write it down? We want more Krishna experience than Krishna explanation. When we face big problem that we cannot solve on our own, we seek help from someone bigger than us, isn't? Whether it's a 911, I mean in America, I don't know in India you use that. So if we are religious, we sense that the biggest person is Krishna. And Bhagavad Gita is explaining, indicating that those seeking solution to the problem such as distress and financially need must approach Krishna for help. There's nothing wrong. Akama sarva kama va moksha kama udarudi. Dhruva Maharaj look for help to Krishna. Gajendra look for, there's nothing wrong. And actually Krishna did not say they are outsider. No, he says actually Chaturvida bhajante mam jana sukrita arjuna. What the first word he said? Chaturvida bhajante. They are doing bhajan to me. Krishna did not even say they have a bad desire, all this. Krishna actually appreciate that they have come to him. Krishna's greatness philosophically, then demonstrates is visually through the revelation of the universal form. And it states that we are his eternal parts. What does that mean? To serve him lovingly. When we thus appreciate Krishna's greatness, we don't get overwhelmed by big problem, but continue striving to serve him diligently. Pertinently, this sloka points to his greatness. All these few sloka we just read. He is the sustainer of everything and his smallness. He is smaller than the smallest. Contemplating on his supreme smallness. Tonight, today, after the class, whatever you're doing, think of his meditate on his smallest, smaller than smallest. What does that mean? Just meditate on it. Bigger than biggest, Mahavishnu. What does that mean? Guess what? It will help you to deal with the small problem and big problem. Small things going wrong, one after another, can cause us big trouble. Tall trees that survive severe storms are sometimes brought down by tiny termites. You know, in America we have this. Similarly, small things may make us irritable, unsociable, unspiritual. But at such time, we may think that our problem is too small to be taken to Krishna. I don't know if you ever felt guilty. Like one Gurukuli boy told me that I love this girl, but I feel like I can be more Krishna conscious if I marry her, and but I don't feel like to approach Krishna. I feel like guilty. I said, guilty for what? You have the desire and you cannot get on your own. So then if you go to Krishna, look at Kardama Muni. His guru told him to get married and procreate. What did he do? He went to meditate. No, he went to Krishna and he meditated. And he got better wife than he could have gotten before. For anything, try have a practice of going to Krishna. For any reason, just go to Krishna. Just go to Krishna. Even if you have a bad intention, Krishna is such a loving person, he will not take your intention. He will take your approaching him. Eventually, you will lose all the contamination and you will end up with him, serving, loving. More we approach Krishna, more we chant is better only. It solves all the problem. Because Bharat says this, akama, sarva kama. Sarva kama means what? What is sarva kama means? Any desire you have. Moksha kama, even if you have a liberation desire. Tibrena bhakti yogena. So Bharat says this. So rather than worrying about the size of the problem, we can focus on the strength of our purpose and pray to Krishna for the strength to serve him always amidst big problem, small problem or no problem. When we thus stay fixed in serving him, that connection gives us calm, clarity to face all situations wisely. Anybody has any question or comment?
Prabhuji, can I ask?
Yes.
One? So you're saying for every problem we should be going to Krishna, but it is also said that we should not be so selfish and only ask from Krishna. We rather should have the attitude of serving what we can give rather than what he can give to us. So should we just deal with it, whatever problem we are having, just because of our karma only we are facing all this problem, and then not ask for solution from Krishna and rather ask him how we can serve him?
Can you go from 5th grade to 10th grade without going through the 6, 7, 8, 9?
No, if I have double promotion, I can go to the next class.
Double promotion. I also had double promotion when I was in school. But that doesn't solve the problem that if you jump from 5th to 10 without going through, in the 10th grade, you will have a trouble to assimilate the knowledge. Make sense?
Yes, Prabhuji, yes.
Because for a 5th grade to 10th grade jumping, it's like a very confusing because every grade has this particular subject matter and it makes it easier. So similarly, what you said is correct. But if somebody has a desire and is trying to not to go to Krishna, he will go away. Those desires can take him away. It's better he stays with Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you.
I want everybody to please remember this. I think, did I mention that in Bombay groundbreaking ceremony, Prabhupada asked the question, how do you ascertain that Sri Krishna is the origin supreme God? Did I ask that question? No. So can somebody help me? We'll end with this. How do you ascertain that Sri Krishna is supreme God? He is your object of love. Okay, that's true. We all heard it. How do you ascertain? Prabhupada asked that question to those few devotees who were sitting there on groundbreaking. There was no ISKCON temple. There was no Jew beach. He just got the land after fighting with Mr. Nair. You know the story probably. It was a little bit movie type of. But somehow the Prabhupada got it and he had a groundbreaking ceremony and he gave a beautiful speech in the morning and he asked that question, how do you ascertain that Sri Krishna is the supreme God? How do you know? How do you ascertain? Ascertain means how do you examine and convince yourself? How?
It's stated in the scriptures, Prabhu.
Very good answer. One, write it down everybody. This is a one answer that, okay, it says in the Shastra, but Prabhupada was not convinced. He said something more. Let's see if we all can figure it out. There's a 6 things Prabhupada says. I mean, not Prabhupada didn't say, but the devotee help each other. Whoever answered first time, don't answer the second one if you know. Let other also try.
Krishna lifted Govardhan Hill. Krishna lifted Govardhan Hill. Can some means nobody can lift that.
Very good. So you are saying Krishna exhibited as a big, powerful God. Okay, that's good. That's also good through his Leela. Nice. Need 4 more, at least 6. Prabhupada, I mean, Prabhupada didn't say 6, but from that lecture I picked it up 6.
We can see, we can taste, we can do everything because Krishna is in our body. So everything is dependent on Krishna. Without him,
that's a Shastra. According to Shastra, it goes to the number 1.
Puji pratyakshaavagamam dharmyam. By you're able to experience personally, you experience the reciprocation when you render devotional service.
Who is this mother? Who spoke?
Archana Bhakti Devidasi, Prabhuji.
Oh, Archana Bhakti Devidasi. You hit the very wonderful point. That was the last point, Prabhupada, actually. Can you elaborate a little more? Okay, because of the time. First is, they say to Prabhupada, well, Prabhupada, you are saying Krishna is Supreme Lord. We are born in the West, we have no idea. You promoted, you said Krishna is Supreme God, he has a name, he has a form, he has an address, he has a parents, he has a home, everything. All the details of God is there. So Krishna is Supreme Lord because you said. So that's Guru and Sadhu. The third, some Prabhu says Shastra. Shastra also promote that Krishna, all the Shastra. Vedasya sarver aham eva vedda. Bhagavad Gita 15:15 says, the purpose of Veda to promote that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. That's all. If Shastra does not promote, that Shastra is not good. Do not read the Shastra. Shastra means these 3 things has to be given. Mahaprabhu says, Bhagavan sambandha bhakti avideha prema prayojan vedetina vastu. He said Veda means, knowledge means these 3 things. So this is good. So first is Sadhu Guru, Prabhupada says. I mean, some devotees say Prabhupada agreed. Second is Shastra, that is two. Third is other acharyas, great personality has to accept. Who are the other acharya? Historian, you know, Max Muller, those who are in America, you must know, the university in America, they know Max Muller is a big historian. Max Muller actually accepted Krishna as a Supreme Lord. Sankaracharya is a Mayavadi. He also accepted Narayana Para Bhaktat. All the four Sampradaya Acharya accepted Krishna as the origin. Brahmaji says Ishvara Parama Krishna. Lord Shiva said, what did he say? Mukti Pradata Sarvesham Vishnureva Samsaya. Even in 7th chapter, we just read, Lord Shiva says Krishna is the only one who can give liberation. He is the supreme. Bhrigumani also said, Durga Devi herself said, Maya Devi. In Chaitanya Chaitamrita Antalila 3rd chapter 257, you will see Maya Devi declare that by the mercy of Shiva, I could get only cross the ocean, but love of God is not possible. Only by the mercy of Haridas Thakur, I got it. Krishna is the supreme. Even Maya Devi is, and even recently, one of my friend from Chopati, he says, the Albert Einstein, he said very wonderful. He said, when I read Bhagavad Gita, reflect about how God created this universe, everything else seems so superfluous. He appreciated Krishna's description. He accepted Krishna, even Albert Einstein. So these are like, not necessarily they are all acharyas, but all acharya accepted, also thoughtful, wise people, they accepted. Then question comes, who else? Well, Krishna himself declared in Bhagavad Gita that I am the supreme. Aham sarvajigyanam. Aham, he says in 9th chapter, we'll see. Aham sarvajigyanam bhokta cho. I am the only enjoyer. I am the supreme. Matta parataranan natkinchidasti dhananjaya. Nothing is equal or above me. These are like a bold statement. Krishna himself declared. In Quran, no God declared. In Bible, no God declared that who is supreme God. No scripture has as clear as Bhagavad Gita. So that is also very nice. Then Krishna proved his own example, as Ramsham Prabhu says, lifting Govardhan, dancing in 16,000. Let's see in the history of the world if anybody had more than Prabhupada said one Muslim king was in India, 160 wife, and to meet every, what was that, once a year or something, and it was disaster. He failed. Even to maintain 160 wife, he failed. He was a big Muslim king. Prabhupada gives a story. But Krishna maintained 16,108 in a perfect condition. And Raslila, billions of girls. Satakoti Gopi Sange Rasa Vilas, Ek Murti Rahe Radha Pas, Chaitanya Chaitanya says, Satakoti Gopi, 100 crore gopis. Show me one man can dance with 100 crores girls and actually make them everybody happy. After how long danced? 4,320,000,000, whole night of Brahma. And after that even, they don't want to go back home. So Krishna exhibited. So this is also another big proof. Then the final, I think Mother Archana Bhakti says, or somebody says, that you have to grow up. Prabhupada says that is needed. You have to grow up of believing and accepting. So today you meditate after the class. Whatever you're doing, taking prasadam, the Krishna is smaller than smallest, bigger than biggest. He's in my heart. How can he be in my heart? That is called inconceivable mercy. And guess what? From the heart, he can come out exact to your size, called Madhyama. Bigger than biggest, smaller than smallest, but the most inconceivable that he can come exact your size and talk to you just like a friend. He's so loving, so eminently lovable, his quality. You meditate on this. If you have to grow up with it, Prabhupada said, you have to grow up every day. Then journey is over. You will be with Krishna. Okay, I end here. Any reflection from one, two, or few devotees?
I wanted to say something.
Oh, Nirguna Prabhu.
It's not against Smarnam. Of course, Smarnam is something that I neglected all my life, and it was the wrong thing to do. And now I'm working on it because of the Bhakti Shastri. But you said a devotee in Mayapur was drowning, and he was
Prabhu.
taken under the current, and he saw the pizza commercial. But I know that if you leave your body in Mayapur, Shiva comes and he whispers to your ear Gauranga and takes you to the spiritual world. And there is, the Mathura Mahatmaya. It says, no matter what you do, no matter how you die, no matter who you are, if you leave your body in these places, you go back to Godhead or you get elevated. What do you say? What do you?
When you read the Shastra, Prabhu, I agree with you. You have to read the fine print. In Navadip Dham Mahata, it says Parak, 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 Parak. These are the potency. It gives you liberation. Liberation does not mean, liberation means you don't have to be part of this material creation. But that doesn't mean you are in the spiritual world. You are in the middle called Siddhaloko. Siddhaloko has a two sphere. One is Kailash Dham, and below is all the demon get killed or liberation people, they all live there. So it's a two layer of Siddhaloko. Then comes the Vaikuntha border. Srila Prabhupada in Chaitanya Charitamrita, the one purport says that Shiva Loka, Kailash Dham is not even spiritual world because there is no service for the devotees.
You said Shiva Loka or Siddha Loka?
Siddha Loka has a two.
Siddha?
Siddha, Siddha.
Siddha is not under the Jana Loka, is above?
That is another. Just like Kailash Dham in Kubera's place here in this material world, the Kubera, the treasurer of heaven, he has a guest house called Kailash Dham. So that is Shiva lives here. Also, origin Kailash Dham is beyond the material Devi Dham. Both are there. It's like an American embassy in Calcutta. Inside the embassy is American law. But outside the gate, Indian law. So similarly, Kailash Dham is here, Kailash Dham is also there. Something like that.
Okay, so, yes. So, yes.
So you can go there and hang around for billion years, but you'll get tired because you're hearing all this beauty exchange with Krishna. You'll get tired. Because why? Come to this basic point. We have senses. Spiritual body has the senses. Spiritual body has a natural attraction. We want beauty. We want charmingness. We want loveliness. These are natural for the soul. This liberation doesn't help. But liberation is negation. We need that, but it is not our focus. So yes, just like for an example, since you are talking about Mayapur, beautifully explained, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur also says that you drink the Ganges water. Can somebody tell me when you drink the Ganges water, what purifies you? The water or the Mother Ganges? Who purifies you?
Mother Ganges.
Mother Ganges.
Mother Ganges.
Please write it down. It is Krishna's will, not Mother Ganges, not the water. It is Krishna. It is Krishna. Padanaka nira janita jana pavana. Padanaka nira janita jana pavana. This Ganges came from the Padanaka of Bamandev. Padanaka means toenail. Tip of the toenail, poked. It is Krishna's desire, Krishna's will causes us purify. Yes, also medium is there, Mother Ganges is there, water is there. But the main point, if you focus on Krishna, then your purification is tremendous, 100%.
How about the faith, Prabhuji?
That is the faith. Faith cannot be blind. Faith has to be aligned with the Shastra. So if you drink the water, you'll get purified. But if you eat the fish, I don't know if you went to Mayapur, I used to swim there and I was almost drowned also. But I was saved by Brahmapada Prabhu, who was disabled. He was so kind to me. But he passed away, when is that? Couple months back, 4 months back. So if you eat the fish in Mayapur, you'll go to hell. From the same Ganges. But you drink the water, you'll get purified. So we have to understand the conception of Mayapur is not that. Mayapur also has a covering. In Navadvip Dham Mahatma, you read those verses. Dhamer upari jara maya patijal, acha diya rake dham ei chirakal. Shri Krishna Chaitanya jar nahiko sambandha, dhamer upari bas kare sei andha. He said, Maya Devi put a big curtain on top of Dham. And those people who does not have a devotional mentality, no connection with Lord Chaitanya, they think they live in Holy Dham, but they have no clue. They are not living in Holy Dham. This is in Navadvip Dham Mahatma. I'm quoting you. You can look at it. Holy Dham means you live. If I go to Bamandev Prabhu's house and I don't care about him, I only use his refrigerator, I eat, sleep, but I don't talk anybody, I use his house. Is that comfortable for him? Is that comfortable for anybody? No. There has to be relationship. If I want to live in Holy Dham, I have to have a relationship of the Dham. So something like that. But it's a nice question, Nirguna Prabhu. You're very thoughtful, devotee.
What?
That the question.
What was the conclusion?
Conclusion is that you have to be you are conscious being, you have to be consciously living in Holy Dham, then you will get the result. Otherwise, you are staying outside the Holy Dham. There is a Maya Devi covering. If you have a Navadvip Dham Mahatma, you read in the beginning. The verse goes like this. Dhamer upori jara maya pati jal, acha diya rakhe dham ei chirakal. The Maya Devi has a beautiful covering on the Holy Dham that people who eat sense enjoyment, they think they live in Holy Dham, but they do not live in Holy Dham. Yes, if I leave my body in Holy Dham, means I'm conscious of the Holy Dham, I'll get definitely liberation and more. But if I'm living there sense enjoyment and I think that something mystical will happen, no, sir, I'm sorry, it won't happen.
Mm-hmm. Who was this disciple of Prabhupada that saved you, that you said left his body? Sorry for changing.
Brahmapada Prabhu.
Brahmapada.
In early 80s, he was the Goshala in charge.
Oh. Okay, but so what you say, but I understood. I'm so sorry for this. Okay, you know what? Okay, never mind. I can drop the subject anyway. It's because
no, this
I just
is
wondered.
important. I appreciate that you brought it in.
No, I just thought that some people don't remember Krishna, but somehow other Krishna gives them this mercy to help them go to the spiritual world. But it's maybe cannot be, because if they don't think of Krishna, then they think of what they really desire, and that then they cannot go to the spiritual world because they have material desires.
Very good. You answering. Very good.
Yes.
Please write it down. This, I'm sorry taking too long. Please write it down. In our Krishna consciousness movement, we have a few myths. I'm going to just give you 3 today, but just the title, no explanation, because it will take like half an hour, 1 hour. First spiritual myth, myth, M-Y-T-H, that spiritual growth is automatic. But the reality is spiritual growth is intentional. Please write it down. It requires commitment and effort to grow. Maybe I'll end here, just first myth. Tomorrow I'll give you the second myth or third myth. We had a long discussion in Sannyas College about this. Because we do have a myth amongst the devotee. We think like, I spent 20 years in the deity room, automatically I am in Golok Bhavan, end of my life, right? No, it doesn't say. Were you there physically? Were you there mentally? Were you there consciously? One pujari, I would not say the name, he would go to our altar here. We have a beautiful altar. Or maybe I should not say it. But anyway, he would go, Radharani has a hand like this, like she's giving blessing. He would go and put his palm like so he was challenged, why are you doing this, Prabhu? This is Srimati Radharani as an object of worship. Oh, she's my friend. So of course, he is not in the pujari room anymore. But it's like we take it cheaply. Sometimes we take this process too cheap. This is a divine process, it's not cheap. Yes, coward boys, they can do. Coward girls there, but they are in that position. So, I'm sorry not to put you negative thing. So you remember, first spiritual myth is the spiritual growth is automatic. But the reality is that spiritual growth is intentional. And it requires commitment and effort to grow. And then tomorrow I'll give you other bits that we have. And we can discuss what is that means. Okay, no more question, just some reflection. What are you going to take today from what we discussed, so many things?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Can I?
Hare Krishna. Who is speaking?
I'm Arundhati, Prabhuji.
Okay, Mother Arundhati. Yes.
We have to, you had said that we have to shift our consciousness from material to spiritual, and that Krishna does not shift it. We have to shift it by putting our endeavor. Krishna sees that endeavor. That's what Krishna sees. So if we cannot offer our heart to Krishna, we have to offer what is in the heart. That is.
Wow. Very nice, very nice, very nice. I'm already impressed. Thank you, Mother. That's wonderful. This is very nice.
Thank you. So
okay, hold on to your rest. Let's other also share. This is wonderful. I like that. Okay. Anybody else?
She's probably asking a question.
No, Mata. No. I just wanted to tell that we have to invest our attention while doing a sadhana. That is what is in our heart, which we can give to Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
you. You made me very happy. I am very happy to hear. Those are very key points. Somebody else?
Yes, Prabhuji. I have noted 3 points for me. That is a check.
Who is speaking?
This is Deepti, Prabhuji.
Oh, okay. Yes, Mother.
Yes, Prabhuji, you have told 3 points to keep a check on us. And that is, number 1 is, if devotee with good quality illuminates our heart with joyful mood, then we are on the right path.
Well, can you explain me? I didn't understand.
If other person who is having some good qualities more than me, or some better qualities than me, if that
Yes.
person illuminates my heart with a joyful mood, then I am on the right path of devotional service.
Wait, let me understand. Maybe I'm misunderstanding. Say I see some good quality in you. I just heard you talking. It's nothing to do with you now. It's me. Do I feel happy to see that somebody has a better quality? Then it is good.
Yes, Prabhu. This is a check that I'm applying on myself. I'll keep checking
Okay.
myself on this point.
Got you. Sorry. Yes, very good.
Another point is, if on seeing a devotee who is in need, who is not able to understand something, do I naturally have that feel that I should help them or guide them in understanding that thing?
Very good.
And the third point that you told is, we should have natural friendship, natural respect for seniors, and love for juniors. And we should always realize this, all these relationships with the patience, with the we should always respect our seniors and give love to the juniors, not that in a way to always in a mood to correct them.
Very good.
All these
Wonderful.
3 points I noted for just to keep a check on me, just to keep a watch on me.
Wonderful. And if you do all these 3, what will happen? Bhagavatam says, you will be free from material suffering. If you really do this, definitely Bhagavatam. I have a faith, strong faith on Bhagavatam words.
Yes, Prabhu.
Very
Thank
good.
you.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, can I say, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mata.
So Krishna is smallest than the small, and smaller than the smallest, and bigger than the biggest. And it is very difficult to understand, like it says here, like achintya means inconceivable. But we have to, without argument, we have to accept it as it is given in the Vedas.
Very good. Very good. If you contemplate this, you will feel happy. Yes, very good.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Mata.
I would like to share that there is no problem is bigger than Krishna. So we just want to meditate on that, and everything becomes insignificant in front of Krishna.
Very good. Wonderful. Yes. Someone else? Otherwise, we'll close.
During
Also,
chanting, the meditation that you talked about, Prabhuji, is like the garlanding thing from Harinam Chintamani, and you referenced. So that was really helpful, that exercise. And hopefully, while chanting, I'll be able to continue it forever. Please bless.
I tell you secret, Mata. Sometime I used to fall asleep many years back. By the grace of Guru Krishna, I do this meditation also sometime. And last many years, though no sleep comes when I chant. I chant 4 hours, sometimes 3 hours, but no sleep comes. That was the mercy of meditation. I see that. Thank you. Please do it. Please do it.
There is a saying, I think it's from Hebrew, I don't know, but they say, don't tell Krishna, no, of course they don't say Krishna, but don't tell Krishna about your problems, tell your problems about Krishna. So it's maybe it's connected to what you said. No.
Just go to Krishna for any reason. That's good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mother.
So Prabhuji, you told us from Nectar of Devotion, chapter 10, that one way or the other, you should fix your mind on Krishna. Yena tena prakarena mana Krishna niveshayat. So in that context, you said the way to do it is you have to establish your relationship with Krishna in the heart. Without relationship, you cannot fix your mind on Krishna. And for us, the best relationship is in the mood of servitorship, in the mood of servant, Dasya Bhav. And when this Dasya Bhav matures, then our original relationship is revealed by Krishna.
Mahaprabhu, yes. Bhaktivinoda Thakur said Mahaprabhu will reveal. We should not worry. Very good. That's wonderful. Thank you, Mata. That's wonderful. Bhamandev Prabhu, what you are taking today? You can repeat the same thing, don't worry, because it's all good.
And I also have a question about when you spoke about the mind and the intelligence and the hierarchy between these aspects. And this, I remember a lecture where I heard that the mind have a special position as a higher position because their desire appears, is manifested, and in this way have a leading position in the subtle body.
So you are conscious being, consciousness coming out from you, where consciousness going through, if you focus on the mind means storage, you know, like a warehouse storage of all those impressions from previous life.
Yeah.
So if you focus on that, you are on the mind, then mind will take you somewhere. That choice is up to you. But if you say, no, I don't want to focus on this, let me go to the next. Intelligent. So this is a good time where time is coming up, death is coming, we better be serious and chant. Then intelligence will take you to focus on Krishna. That choice is up to you. Consciousness, the thinking, willing, feeling, when it is passing through the mind, it's may have a very diverted, you know, like confusing, worry, anxiety, because we are focused on the mind. Thinking, willing, feeling is not a part of mind, but thinking, willing, feeling passing through the mind. Did you ever drive through a freezing condition that you feel cold?
Yes.
If your car, you know, pass through a big bump, do you feel the bump also?
Yes.
You may say, well, I'm not car, but still you are attached to the car. So you feel the bump. So whatever we are passing through, whether through the mind or through intelligence, we will feel what is going on. It makes sense?
Yes. Thank you.
Even though driver is separated from the car. But whatever car, so similarly, if we can learn the technique, how to shift our consciousness from mind to mind is a default. Now let me ask you this, a bad example, but take it seriously. If you have an orphan child, he's so mischievous, you put him in a one room, say sit down here, don't move, don't go anywhere, and you just went there to the toilet. By the time you come back, he comes and put on the stove fire and put some paper, and now you have a fire. And you're like, what are you doing? Why? Now, what are you going to do? I'm going to ask you a question. The child lit the fire. Now, as soon as you went to take care of that fire, the child went in the bathroom and he just flushed the toilet and he broke the handle, and then the water is flushing everywhere. Now, you go there, by the time you finish this, he just ran into the big road where the big truck is coming. So will you take care of the child or you take care of the problem? Which one are you going to do?
Of course, the child.
Very good. You caught it. Mind will never give you, in the material sense, ever peaceful. But if you keep on fixing things, you will be fixing forever. So Krishna consciousness teaches us to be proactive, not reactive, not maladaptive. Majority people in this world, even in relationship, husband, wife, or children, parents, they're always repairing. Oh, I'm so sorry you said this. Oh, I'm sorry I was moody. They're always repairing. Prabhus and mothers, why not you prepare? Then you don't have to repair. But to prepare, you have to be proactive. You have to be alert what mind can do. You know, I have two sons. We're the best friend. They're all grown up, 27, 21, you know, one owns a nice, beautiful business and everything. But we are best friend. We are like buddies. Spiritually, we have a good communication. But it's required time to build like this. So if we prepare, then we don't have to repair. But remember this, I'm serious, 99% this world, people are repairing all day, every day. Oh, I need to do this. Oh, Krishna, I forgot this. It's like always like some repair. But of course, it's not easy to prepare. But if we can learn how to prepare our life, then, so we have to be proactive, not maladaptive or inactive. Inactive is tamogun influence. Maladaptive is rajagun. We have to be proactive, sattvagun, close to the bhakti, Suddha Sattva.
How do we prepare, Prabhuji?
Mataji, I'm already like 1 hour over the class.
One line answer.
One line answer. If you can just perform your duty without any attachment.
Okay, Prabhuji.
If you can do that slowly, I mean, this is one of the things, not just everything, but it's difficult, very difficult. Because you have attachment. If you can put the attachment to Krishna and do the things is anashakta. Anashaktasya vishayan jataham upajunjata. Nirbandha Krishna sambandha jukta vairagya uchyate. We have to become jukta vairagyi. Then yes, you can be definitely proactive and happy. Jukta vairagya or Rupa Goswami Pad explained that very nicely. Anashaktasya is very difficult. Can you be very attentive at the same time you are not attached to the result? It's an art. It's possible, it's an art. If we keep on practicing, anybody knows that verse in 6th chapter you just passed? I'm sure the previous teacher devotee definitely gave you. Krishna says, Chanchala himana Krishna, Arjuna says, Chanchala himana Krishna pramati valabhadhiram. Dasham nigram manne bayarupi shuduskaram. What did Krishna answer? Who remembers the next sloka?
Asamshayam mahabaho mano durnigraham chalam abhyasena tu kaunteya
Vairagyana cha grijyate. What does that means, Mata? What did Krishna do to Arjuna?
First, Krishna said, there is no doubt that it is very difficult.
Hold on, Mata. What is that means? Do you know?
That the mind is very obstinate and to control.
No. When somebody come to you, do you pay attention? See how loving Krishna. Arjuna says, I have a problem, my mind. Oh, Chanchala imana Krishna. He's complaining. Krishna says, yes, Arjuna, I agree with you. You know how comforting when you go with your complaint to someone and that person says, oh, come on, get over it, chant Hare Krishna. You feel like, gosh, don't even pay any attention to what I'm going through. This is not what Krishna consciousness is. Krishna consciousness, you pay attention, that person going through. Krishna says, Asangsaya, undoubtedly, Arjuna, what you are going through, yes, I agree. Arjuna felt, wow, he understands I'm going through tough time. Isn't sweet?
Yeah.
Then when that person become close, then you give the dose. You say, Abhasana to kunte vairagyana chapisya. Do these two things. Try to practice Yukta Vairagya. Try to practice.
What if you are in that position where you go, like, let's say I go and I get treated instead of the way Krishna treats, someone says, oh, come on, like that, then how do I handle the situation? Or if someone just keeps, pointing out at me. So just tolerate, is that what is the answer?
You find a friend, Sadhu Sangha Satabare, who cares for your spiritual progress.
Mhm.
You do not maintain ill motive with the friend who is not helping, but also look for an association of another Mataji or another friend who actually cares for your spiritual life. Rupa Goswami Pad did not say you just have to hang around with your family member. When Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami saw that his brother was insulting a Vaishnava, he could not fall asleep whole night. Shyamdas has criticized Minaketan Ramdas. You know that story in Chaitanya Charitamrita. He could not fall asleep. He was so disturbed. Oh, Krishna, the Vaishnava, my brother insulted Vaishnava. This is horrible. He felt so bad and he cried. What happened? Nityananda Prabhu appeared to him to consolate him, to counsel him. So when you see that you're not getting the help you need, find it. I'm sure you pray to Krishna, Krishna will arrange a devotee who actually will allow you to progress further. If somebody don't understand where I am, did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tell Sarvabhauma, you are bogus Mayavadi? No. He says, you want to teach me? Go ahead, teach me. Sympathetic has to be there. Sympathy has to be there. This is Vaishnava culture. Like yesterday I mentioned, or maybe not, yesterday after I finished the class, I had another class on the Sunday feast in Orlando Temple. Swan Prabhu asked that, in our ISKCON society, I see a lot of Matajis, they're like super smart than Prabhus sometimes. In a Vedic culture, generally Prabhus are supposed to be in the front. But nowadays in our culture, like we see that the Kali Yuga Matajis are taking the role, which is wonderful. Because somebody has to rule, otherwise it will go. And very bright. So he was mentioning something and then another Mataji jumped on the Zoom. So she asked a similar question, almost similar. So then I knew that temple and the president, and so I mentioned some suggestion. They said, I just thought about it after getting hurt, and you just reveal this in the public Zoom. So I'm going to do it. I said, good. So find some friend who really cares for your spiritual progress and make sure he's in the same goal, but who is also a little bit senior. Senior in a sense in mature understanding, not by age or by. Then you'll see things will turn around, and whoever is not actually helping, by seeing your example, that person also will change and actually will help. That person will get help also from you in another angle.
Yeah, my question was, Prabhuji, about how to prepare, Prabhuji. You said instead of repairing, you should prepare. So my question was, when you face a situation where you are, sometimes attacked, then how do you prepare for such a situation ahead of time so that you don't react, and then you actually don't have to repair later? How do you prepare yourself? That was the question.
Sometimes it is good. You know why? Because I don't feel intense to pray to Krishna. This type of circumstances, that I don't expect and they just attack, you feel like, oh, Krishna, please, I need help. I need help. That person may be yelling to you, but inside your heart, you just going such intense prayers. That person is actually helping.
Yeah.
Krishna sent that person instead of enemy is a friend. When Parashar went to the temple to pray, his god brother was his enemy, did not like him to be the guru successor. And he yelled, you are not impure, your heart is dirty, and how can you be guru? And then Parashar Maharaj went to the deity. He says, my Lord, I am praying alone before. Now you see, they are praying for me. You will hear, because majority prayers are now in a volume. Please listen and purify my heart. After he prayed and prayed and prayed like this, when opposition comes, it actually helps us to intensify our intention and prayers mood. Isn't? It's true.
Yeah.
And then what happened? The opposition dissolves.
Yeah.
Try that.
So it boils
Definitely
down.
do.
It boils down to our relationship with Krishna, isn't it?
Yes, it is an opportunity if somebody is opposing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
That's
you.
a wonderful question.
Thank you.
So we end here, right? Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, Banchakal Pataruvesha, Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha, Patitanam Pavanebho, Vaishnavebho Namo. Anantapuri Vaishnavibinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ishkan Guru Binda ki jai. Samavata Vaishnavibinda ki jai. Nitai Gaur Brahma.